I wanted to talk today about Gangadhar Tutorials. I really think that this was the way Master Garu touched a whole generation of students. Yes, St. Joseph's was an amazing place. There were lots of young women who he inculcated the law of math and physics. My elder sister, Dr. Sugnakaran, was definitely one of them. And even I remember when I was a small kid, 10 or 11 years old, she would tell us stories about Master Garu and what a great physics teacher was. And I didn't think much about it till I moved to Vizag. I was in my 11th standard at Vishaka Valley School. And I was very interested in studying I wanted to get into IIT. And IIT is, for some of you who don't know what IIT is, especially from the United States, about 100,000 people apply for that exam. And when I appeared for it in the 1980s, about 60,000 appeared, and only about 1,500 got selected. So a very competitive engineering exam with math, physics, and science. Math, physics, and chemistry, and also an English paper. Now, Master Garu was a physics teacher, right? And the math was very intense in that. But that didn't prevent him. He was a person who just built on the knowledge base he had in physics. So he learned the high fundamentals of geometry. And now this seemed like high school math, but it ended up being first year, second year college level programs. So he took time to learn those. And also he's very, very clear. When he didn't think he was the master of the subject, he would recruit other people. And in fact, as Gangadhar Tutorial grew larger, he found the right professors. And he would get them from all over the state. He didn't look at only Vizag. He would get them from all over the state and get the right and the best person. So he looked not only at their knowledge, but their skill, methods, and their techniques. And of course, some of the memories I'm going to share are from 1980, 1981, and then following it through 85, when I saw that growth in Gangadhar Tutorial. Fundamental was his knowledge of geometry. All of us did geometry. That was, in fact, the first courses we taught. Just going through the formulas, the derivations, proving the hypothesis was big for him. QED, he used to write that, quod erat demonstrandum, so we have proved. And his point was we needed to have a very good logical understanding. Now, as I've gone through the years as an elder, I've been teaching adults math, I realize geometry has that power of for the people to visualize math, and it's a very powerful way to do that. We spend a lot of time training trigonometry. Statics and dynamics was an important part of our training, math and chemistry. He taught us all those subjects. We were in this one-room place in about half a mile from Jagdamba. I think it was called Jail Road. It was a steep road climbing from Jagdamba Theatre. And then there was a building, the second floor building. All they had was a bunch of desks, tables. We sat down on the benches. There were no tables per se. And we would just work through our notebooks. We had my sister would give me a whole bunch of old papers sewn together, and we would just write. Master Garu had a big blackboard, and in that blackboard, he would go, he'd have a chalk in his hand and a cigarette in the other, and he would go. We would have breaks for tea. I didn't particularly care for that tea, but Master Garu would always sip that tea to keep himself going. Now remember, he had a full day. He had started work early in the morning at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. He had gone to college, and then he would come and he would work on our stuff. Sometimes we'd go in the night around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we'd go to his house, and there we would, Raji Madam would give us some snacks to eat, and we would still continue. Oftentimes we'd go to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And in the weekends, we would often do a 15, 16-hour session. And that is what I look back, right? This old man looking at that 16 or 17-year-old boy. How did we manage it? We were all motivated, don't get me wrong. I had even stopped seeing movies for a year because I was so motivated. But he had this ability to take that motivation to the next level. I don't know how he did it, but he did that. And his biggest mantra was practice, practice, practice. We kept practicing problems again and again that we could do. He would say, if I wake you up in the middle of the night, can you do it? And we could do it. That was how good it was. With the tougher problems, he made us do it again and again. He didn't care if the answer didn't come. He said that we learn by working on the toughest problems. And sometimes he would do these problems, they seemed so simple once we got the answer. But he said it was important to go through that process. He also had this ability to find our weak spots and strengthen them. After we did geometry, statics, and dynamics, we started doing math. And in math, we would find the toughest algebra problems, a lot of algebra. We did a lot of algebra, calculus, and again, we did those problems again and again. Physics, of course, was his master subject. He knew it inside out, and we worked on a lot on physics. Now, chemistry, there are two parts, the organic chemistry and the inorganic chemistry. The inorganic chemistry was very simple in the sense that he knew that very well. But organic chemistry, he didn't consider himself an expert. So he got this professor from Vijayanagaram, which was about 2 hours or 1.5 hours. And that old man would come on Saturdays in a bus, and then he would come, and we would work all day through that. So that was the beauty of it. He knew where he to get the right people. Now, as I was doing this video recording, I was wondering how trivial or how boring it may be to some of you. And when I look back at those memories, there's a very powerful memories because, yes, Master Garu loved us, but it was his discipline, his methods, his dedication that made him such a special person. And I know that I'm only one of that small group of people. There's a huge group of people who benefited by his methods. And Gangadhar Tutorial that grew out of this small seed was as strong as that base that he laid for us. So I hope that gave you a good feel about his methods and his dedication. Thank you.